Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Get Together podcast. I am Alyssa.
Hey, I'm Stacy.
And we are finally back together.
It's been a while.
It's been 2 months.
There's so many people wondering where we are.
And by that I mean like one person has been like, where you guys been? So to you, thank you.
Person.
You know who you are.
We love you. And thanks for getting together with us
Thanks for supporting us. Oh my gosh. We've already been laughing hysterically over absolutely nothing except odd noises. And my eyes are crying. But we're going to get through it. We're gonna get through this episode.
It feels good to be with you today.
It does. It feels like yesteryear.
I miss you a lot.
It literally was last year since we saw each other.
Was it really?
Well, yeah.
Well, I know, but like it was all of January.
Yeah, it's January 30th right now.
We would schedule a podcast day, and then my kids are sick.
I don't remember what happened with us.
And one day I was just like, I can't do anything today. And you
The
were like, good,
holidays-
because I can't either.
The holidays have been an event, to say the least. I think everybody's been a little stressy.
Yeah, recovering from everything.
And it's like they never end. Oh my gosh. Like once Halloween gets here every year, it's just pure chaos.
One thing after the other.
And then when you finally are taking a break, for me, it starts birthday season for all my kids.
Me too.
So in birthday season plus Valentine's Day, you got Easter. Never ends.
But we're thankful to be alive.
Are we? I'm just kidding.
I mean, yes.
I am thankful.
But
I am thankful. This episode might be rough. I'm gonna let that depression peekaboo. All about keeping it real.
you know, life sometimes is like that. You just basically move forward and trip and fall and then get up and then move forward. I don't know. I wish I had something really cool and insightful to say.
It was going there. Let it soak, let it fester.
I do remember a long time ago, the church we did go to together, the pastor saying, fall forward. And that always kind of rang true to me because that's kind of what we do. Like if you fall, you get back up and you keep going. And if you fall again, you're falling forward rather than backwards.
Yeah. Me and Jennifer were talking about that actually yesterday and a little bit today. Jennifer, our previous guest, actually. But we were talking about how people just kind of get stuck in that woe is me, life isn't going my way kind of mentality. And it's easy to do, but you literally have to move forward. And like you said, no matter if you're falling, like just get forward. And that's usually easier said than done. But sometimes you really do have to just mind over matter it.
I think sometimes we have fun texting each other and being negative for a minute. Because sometimes
I think it's needed. Sometimes you just have to admit that life sucks.
It's nice to have a friend that you can be real with.
Yeah.
And be like, listen, today is just the worst day of all days.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
none of us are so blind that we're like, we think we have it the worst. You know?
No.
Like, you can take a step back from your life and be like, well, starving people in other countries have it way worse than I do.
Well,
But I am going to complain today.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to complain. Every now and again.
Yeah. Oh, with the right person who's going to be like, yeah, I hear you, but don't give up.
Never gonna give up.
Never gonna.
Well, that went extremely deep and dark there for a minute early on.
Do you like our sign?
I love this new sign.
My daughter Peyton bought me this for Christmas.
It's super cute. And it goes so well with our theme.
It does.
Also, we're recording at night today, which
We've
is
never
different.
done this.
Never.
I like it.
It's dark outside and I'm sleepy.
Well,
When you got here, it was like 7 o'clock, and in my head I was thinking, oh my gosh, it feels like 9:30. But like 9:30 is not even late. I'm just an old lady, so I'm like, oh, 9:30. I need to be in bed right now.
Why did I agree to this?
And now I have coffee, so I'm going to be up all night. Which used to, I could drink coffee and go to sleep.
It does affect you?
It does now. I feel like my dad. I used to make fun of him all the time because I'd be like, you want sweet tea with dinner? He's like, oh, can't have that before.
Oh, I can't.
Can't have that before bed. I'm like, Dad, bed's in 5 more hours. He's like, I'll be up all night. And now that's me.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it depends on the coffee. If I were to get, I don't know, because the other day I had something from Starbucks later in the evening and I was fine.
Here's my theory. Starbucks coffee is not real.
It's not real.
I don't think it's real coffee.
But it's super strong sometimes.
It is. But like,
it's not.
I think it's drugs. Because like, I can drink normal coffee and function as a human. I can drink Starbucks coffee and get real skitsy for like just a minute, and then I'm okay. And then I can go to sleep. So it's like, I'm like, I don't know what it is. It's drugs.
Must be.
God, that's the only answer.
We were getting those C4 energy drinks because the Celsius at Costco didn't have, or at Costco they didn't have the Celsius that we like. And I just had passed the sample for C4. Mm-hmm. It was on sale. So I was like, let me try this. And it was really good. But
did you get
those things are not good.
In it?
It had something in it that wasn't going right.
What is that stuff called? My cousin would know. He told me about it.
Well,
but it's basically like a pre-workout, and it literally makes you tingle.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was, because Brian was like, anytime I exert myself, I feel like tingles throughout my whole body. And then Kendall, one day, she came home for lunch, and she, like, downed a C4. Well, yeah, quickly. And she was like, yesterday, this happened to me yesterday. Like, my hands and my feet were tingling. And I was like, did you have one of those C4s? She was like, yeah, I just had one. So we're not going to buy those anymore.
Gotta look up the ingredient because
evidently that tingling, I guess, is harmless.
It is,
but it doesn't feel harmless.
It's something that makes you like the blood pump through your body. So you not necessarily quicker, but it like expands your blood vessels so your blood can pump.
And you notice it more if you're not active, I guess.
So like when I was lifting, my cousin had told me, because I struggle with motivation. And so he was like, if you'll buy, he's like, do you like wasting money? And I was like, no, I'd rather die. But he was like, buy some pre-workout, because if you force yourself to take a pre-workout, then you will think, oh, I have to work out now because I just took my pre-workout. I don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
And that was true. It worked for me. But the one that I got was Alani, and it had the same stuff in it. And it was like the minute I started feeling it kick in, I had to go work out right then, or I would be like miserable. I don't even know how to explain it. I was just like, ah! It was awful.
There's nothing to release it.
There's something inside of me right now, and I'm gonna go crazy.
I feel like I wish you could tell that story.
I could. It kind of needs a reference.
Go for it.
Okay, so when I was in high school, the guy I was dating, he was in a band, and so he was down in Deep Ellum a lot. Anyways, him and the band went down there early one night before one of the shows, and they had gone into a Subway, and there's like homeless people down there and crazy people and all sorts of shenanigans. Anyways, this guy comes in off the street, and he's like, hey man, can I use your phone? Can I use your phone? To one of the other guys. And so he ended up letting him use his phone, but he was on it forever, and then like walked out of the Subway. And the guys were like, whoa, 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 where are you going with the phone? Where are you going with the phone? And that guy on the phone was like, you guys get back. I don't remember the whole thing, but he like, get back. Started an altercation.
Was he cussing and like
I don't know. I don't remember if he was like belligerent or whatever, but it escalated. We'll just say that. And so my boyfriend at the time, he was tall and very thin and just not like a big guy. And he looked at this guy and he was like, there is something inside of me right now and I'm about to go crazy on you. And the guy was like, whoa, 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 I don't want any trouble, man. And he like gave him the phone back. But that's like one of my most quoted things. Like, oh my gosh. I love that story, and I wasn't even there, but I just remember, like, the way he was retelling it, I was dying laughing. And I still quote that today.
Something inside of me.
There is something inside of me.
I need to say that to my kids.
I'm about to turn into
there is something inside of me.
I'm about to go crazy on you. Crazy on you. I forgot that's a real song. Swallow. Oh my gosh.
That was like, I didn't know where you were taking that melody. I didn't expect it for a second. Great.
I'm crying.
Whew, I needed this evening.
Ooh.
I needed this evening.
I'm sweating.
Do we need to turn the air on?
I could probably just open the door.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Man. Sometimes the rabbit trails are fun. Get a little story time, get a little music.
Yeah. So we kind of decided that this episode was really, we're just coming back together and maybe talk about things that we want to do and maybe ask you guys what y'all would like us to talk about.
All two of you.
Yeah. So let us know. Like and follow. We had, like we said on our podcast before, we had a whole homeschool episode for y'all and the audio was just terrible. So we're going to redo that one.
I'm still
I don't even
want
to think about it. Yeah.
I know.
But it was a good one.
It was good.
And we're still going to do it again. We've been trying to reschedule that one. And then
we have to forget what we talked about so we can redo it.
Yeah. It'll come. It'll be good.
I already forgot half of it, honestly. So, and also that was kind of a bad day for me.
It was a bad, yeah. You were kind of
I was depressed and angry. Seems to be a theme. Weird. I'm a happy person. I just,
No, I mean,
life be lifing sometimes. Ain't no thing.
Yeah.
Shoot. Ain't no thing.
But
we're going to do it on a better day.
Yeah.
We have
one of my friends going to come and join us. She does ministry with the Navajo Nations, and she's going to bring.
I'm super excited about that.
It's going to be really fun. She's going to bring some tea. She's going to teach us some language.
We're probably going to need to be in a bigger room at that point.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I also have a couple of friends lined up. One of which is a childhood speech pathologist.
Oh, awesome!
So that'll be cool. I was thinking the other day, I was like, we know a lot of cool people.
We do. That do a lot of different things, like across the board. Mm-hmm. We should have a nurse come on.
I wish
we know a lot of
my
nurses.
brother and his wife still lived here, because I would love to have her on and him on, but
yeah, that would be awesome.
Somebody had to move away. Just kidding. Love you guys so much.
Maybe one time there in town, if ever.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So,
also, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we do want to do like a husband date night episode.
So that'll be coming at you in a couple weeks.
Got to get him on board. Mine doesn't like to do anything, so.
But when he does it, he's great.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun when he's being fun. Just got to force him. Got to make him.
What do we need to have ready for Kenneth? That would
he needs
make
coffee.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest thing. He's a man of simple things.
And we're both excited about doing this podcast. And I guess we just have to get in a groove of what it's going to look like and how we're going to do it. And
well, it's like when I texted you the other day. Well, so I text you, I think it was before the new year. And I was like, dude, I've got so many goals for the podcast. Like, I'm stoked. And then the new year came around. And one thing after another kept happening, and it kept getting in the way. Last week, I think, we were texting, and I was like, I want to do the podcast, and I know we need to. And I was like, but I just have zero motivation. Mm-hmm. And you were like, yeah, me too. But here we are, pushing through.
Yeah.
And it's always needed. Like, I don't know. I've laughed more in the last 20 minutes than I have in 4 weeks.
I've really badly needed it. Just to be in your presence. That's all. I mean, we could be sitting in there on your couch and I would still be filling up.
Filling my cup.
My cup filleth.
Fill it? Sounds like somebody's name. Do you know Phyllis?
Phyllis. Last year, Phyllis, man. Yeah. Would that be a girl name or a boy name?
It's a cross between Phyllis and Lilith. Phyllis.
Graythan.
Graythan would not approve.
Graythan would not approve.
Oh my gosh, all of these old things are popping up today, man.
So I think it's funny that, or not funny, but whenever you start a new year, it is like everyone pumps up and they're like, we're going to do this and this and this. And then as the year goes by, you know, things fall off. I saw that you and your family kind of did like a vision board, and I love that. I really like vision boards.
Ooh, random rabbit trail, but I would like to have JD on.
Okay.
One day. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
He's done podcasts and lots of different things before.
Yeah.
But
let's do that.
That's not random. I brought that up because he was like the overseer of the vision board party we went to. But yeah, we're usually not vision board people.
Well, I think it's important to put it in front of you.
It does help for sure.
You know, there's certain things that even like for us, like what the Lord's put on our hearts, you know, like put that where you can see it, because a lot of times I'll have a goal or a vision of what I want to happen and you forget. Yeah. Like I forget, I remember I started that and then it's not out of sight, out of mind. Last year I made some goals for my photography business and I hit my goal I hit my goal of all but one wedding.
Oh, wow.
But I wrote it down. And I don't know if I hadn't written it down, you know, I hadn't looked through my planner throughout the year to see, okay, I'm almost to my goal, and it kind of motivates you to keep going.
There's something too about writing it down. I literally just heard, maybe Kenneth told me this statistic, or maybe I heard it on some other podcast, but they were basically saying that the percentage of follow through with, like, if you write it down, your percentage of actually succeeding at that goal is increased by 20% or something random. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. Well, I think it's the same as like when you take notes, like in school, when you write it down, you remember it better. But no, that's what I was saying is like, we're not usually vision board people. But we did our first vision board back in 2022. And I don't think we did anything with it. Like, it ended up getting thrown behind something and we never looked at it. But then this year, JD and them were doing their vision board party. And so we really kind of didn't want to go because we just, you know how it is planning things. Like, you plan it and then you don't want to go. But we made ourselves go, and I'm so glad we did because it was a lot of fun. But it kind of forces you to come together with your spouse, especially if you're doing it together, and think about whether you actually do want some of the same things. It's interesting because some of his goals, like, I didn't even really know about, because he doesn't just talk about stuff all the time. He just kind of keeps everything inside. And so I was like, oh, well, that's a cool goal. And I don't know, it is nice to have them. Like, we made ours cute and then put it somewhere that we'll actually see it. And so it does help seeing it every day, because I'm like, oh, I should probably not be a failure and, you know, strive towards some of these.
Yeah, it is good motivation.
The kids were all excited about it, though. They wanted to make their own. They were sad they didn't go to the party. And so the next day for their school, I just pulled out a ton of stuff that I had laying around the house, and they made their own. So we have them all put up in our little laundry room where we can see them daily.
That's awesome. I loved, was it Hazel's or Evelyn's?
Which one?
Where she said, for my family to go.
Yeah, that was Hazel. Like, her goal was for her family to go to heaven. And I was like, that's super sweet. And I think she's just talking about in general.
Yeah.
Like, not this year. She doesn't want us to go to heaven this year. I ain't ready, Lord. No, on the top of ours though, I had put heaven-minded.
Yeah.
And so I was explaining to them like what that meant because they're like, "What heaven-minded? What does that mean?" So I was explaining it to them, and so I think that's where Hazel was like, "Oh, I want my family to go to heaven."
Yeah. Well, that's where I want to go.
Sweet girl.
I love her. I'm trying to think of all the goals for my life.
Why are we laughing?
I'm trying to think of all the goals for my life.
Not have any. I'm just kidding. Mine are so random for this year. Like my personal goals for this year are like start a garden because I always want to, but I kill everything I plant except for my house plants. I can keep my house plants alive, but if it's outdoors, I'm like, oh, the sun's out there. I can't go water today.
Well, I just don't have the knowledge for it.
There's so much knowledge. I'm overwhelmed,
and
honestly.
Certain plants, you do certain things, and it just kind of like blows my mind.
My Nana, like, she blows my mind because she gets out there and she's like, well, you got to plant these this way and do this way. And if you plant these two together, they'll help that one. And then if you plant this next to that, it'll keep bugs. And I'm like, how do you... But I mean, she's
years and
grown
years
up
of doing
this.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I get so overwhelmed that I get unmotivated.
Same.
So
I mean, if it's not something that I'm like really passionate about learning, you know.
I saw a reel today that was like my ADHD brain floating away because I'm not instantly perfect at something new that I try. And I was like, that's me. If I'm not instantly perfect, I'm like, well, it's not for me.
Yep.
I'm not doing that anymore.
I'm done.
So that's another goal, a personal goal, is to not be that way.
Yeah.
Start the garden, man. If you kill it, whatever. Your husband will just make fun of you some more like he always does.
Well, it's a fun hobby to start. I'd like to start making bread. I know that you've kind of started doing that. Mm-hmm. And I've had a few other friends that have kind of like explained some more to me because that kind of overwhelms me as well.
Yeah.
But the way my friend broke it down for me, I was like, okay, I can actually maybe follow through with that and do it.
Yeah.
And Brian and I were talking about
sourdough. You could do any kind of bread and it'd be better than store-bought.
We were wanting to do sourdough because evidently there's some good health benefits to it. So
you should come over one day and I'll just whip up a batch. And by that, I mean, I will already have the starter fed and we can at least make the dough that day.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I always like watch them do the cutting.
I'm not good at that. Mine always just looks like it's just not, I'm not an artist.
It looks fun.
You know what's funny? This is so random. I wanted to be an artist when I was little. Yeah. And I loved drawing and painting and doing all those things.
Yeah.
And then I don't do those things anymore.
But you're very creative. You still use that part of your brain, though. What I like about you is like even just that vision board thing with your kids. Like, to me, that would be overwhelming to just be like, oh, this is what we're doing, and getting it all out and having it everywhere and just allowing your kids to do it, which I'm sure some of them needed assistance a little bit, but like, I don't know, those kinds of things are harder for me.
Really?
Yeah. And you like take on crafts and you're like, we're doing this craft. And for me, I'm like, ooh, like I want to be that way. Mm-hmm. And I want to just let my kids like, you know, which Nora does all the time. Like, she's very creative and artsy and she makes her own little stuff, but an orchestrated craft.
But see, I too feel bad at that. Like, the thought of construction paper and glue and things stresses me out.
Well, that's how I feel.
But that one day, I don't know, it just worked that day. Yeah. I have found though that like over the years I've had to teach myself not to micromanage because I'm like, I don't even know how to explain it. I am so not a perfectionist until I am. Mm-hmm. And then I want things like just how I want them, which doesn't make any sense because my life is chaos and I just generally don't care. And then like for the longest time, I had to decorate the Christmas tree. Or like I had to take them and put them at the specific place. Like, you can put the ornament right here, put it on this branch. And then probably the last 5 years, I'm like in the back smoking a cigarette, like, y'all get that tree done. Just
Metaphorically.
Metaphorical cigarette. Because I'm just like, I just can't invest the emotion into caring right now. And so, I don't know. That's kind of how I was with the posters. I just pulled everything out, and part of me wanted to be like, well, let's find the perfect picture for this, or let's find a word for this. And I was like, y'all just cut it out. Y'all do what you want. Looks great. Love it.
That's a big deal with parenting in general, is allowing them to be creative and allowing them to make choices. Yeah. And not going behind them and like, ooh, 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 ooh. That's hard. Nobody told me that. Nobody told me I was going to have to like, I said this to somebody the other day because I think it is important when your kids are like bickering or fighting to not always jump in and try to help solve it. I think it's important to stop and let them kind of find their way through the argument. Yeah. Nobody told me how hard that was going to be.
It's terrible.
To like stop and just listen. And then if it does turn to violence, maybe step in. But I mean, I've heard my kids like resolve. And you're like, yes.
Actually, mine did that the other day. I wasn't specifically like listening to see if they resolved it. I just wasn't caring. I was like, they're going to fight, whatever. Yeah. And then I think it was Hazel and Leona. They were kind of back and forth. And then I don't remember what was said, but they fixed it. And then Hazel goes, Leona, I love you. And she goes, I love you too. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the sweetest.
Children.
But then like today I had to go. Wyatt, oh bless him, he's almost 12 and he thinks he's everybody's dad, and he thinks that what he thinks is the only way. Like that's where we're at. And so I in my room today, and I just hear him talking to Hazel, talking down to her, like just nonstop, just berating her over something ridiculous. It was the smallest thing. Anyways, she ends up crying because he won't shut up, essentially, like just stop. And so I like march in the living room, and I'm still taller than him at this point. It's not gonna be that way very soon, but I just like get over him, and I was like, would you, or what did I say? I said, are you ever gonna decide to quit running your mouth to her? And he was like, well, and I was like, I don't care what she's doing. Stop running your mouth. All I could hear in my bedroom was, like, and I'm like in his face, and he was like, okay. It's like, jeez. Not my finest parenting moment, but I've done worse. Let's just put that out right now.
But I've done worse.
But man, I get so tired of hearing him just... I mean, he lambasts every single one of them at any given moment.
It's almost like waiting for them to make a wrong move. Like the older ones waiting for the younger ones to make a wrong move.
Yeah, so they can
and step in.
Yeah.
I saw this meme. I actually sent it to one of my older girls, and it was like, you saw this kid like around the corner waiting, and it said like, your oldest kid waiting for you to need help parenting or something. It's so true. I wasn't an oldest kid, and you were a baby too. So I never understood that. Yeah. Because I was never... I mean, I have a younger brother, but he wasn't my younger brother when I was little.
Right. So it's different.
Yeah.
You know what's the worst, though, is like when you hear your children acting like you, and you're like, I'm a monster.
I should stop doing that.
Yes. Because Leona, oh my goodness, she loves to get on to the little girls. And she just, like, she was in there today. Why isn't this room clean? Girls, get this room clean. What? Pick it up right now. Pick it up. And I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
like,
me.
I know she's being me, but I also want to be like, Leona, shut up.
Well, kids mirror what they're around.
They do. And I'm like, man, I'm a terrible mother. I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I love y'all so much. Thanks for putting up with me. If you ever listen to this episode one day when I'm dead and you're 40.
Oh, she loved us.
I did love you guys.
She did her best.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, I hear Nora a lot do that. Like, she'll get on to Bennett or something, and I'm like, I'm sure I've sounded like that before, you know.
I see. That's what I admire about you, though. I feel like you are so calm And I know you've said that you don't feel calm inwardly, but I feel like...
I mean, I try, but I
feel like you reel everything in really, really well. Because it's like, I don't know, my button is right there. And if you tap it, I'm like, ah!
You're done.
And I feel like your button can get pushed several times. And you're like, all right, we're going to breathe through this. Before you, like, take action, you know? And I'm just like, breathing fire. Well, so I admire that about you. I wish I was more like that.
Thanks. I don't think I don't know. I think I have my days where like even today, it was like headbutting me. He wanted my attention and I was emailing somebody and I really needed to finish what I was doing, but he wouldn't stop headbutting me. And I was like, I did lose it for a minute. And I was like, would you stop? And he like looked at me like with the most sad eyes and just ran and hugged me. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
But see, like that's what makes me sad is I can literally lose my mind and my kids are like, huh? Because they're like so used to it. Oh, sorry, y'all.
Like bearing it all.
Mom's losing her mind again.
I mean, none of us are perfect. And I think there's weaknesses and strengths in different areas, you know?
I think that's why that whole it takes a village thing was supposed to be a thing. So you're supposed to have people around you that, you know, when you had a weakness in something, they had their strengths and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But nobody wants to help parent anybody's kids these days.
No, I definitely envision parenthood differently. Like, I envisioned, like, my whole family around all the time. And, you know, it's just not really how it is.
Why did we think it was going to be easy? That's what...
Yeah, like... I mean, I knew that it would probably be some hard parts, but some parts I'm like, nobody said anything about this.
Well, I think back to like, I don't even know how to draw this picture that's in my head, but like I remember being 6. Like I vividly remember being young, a young child, like 6, 7, 8. I have very specific memories. Like I remember how things felt and how things smelled and how things looked, and I don't know, I just imagined that same kind of childhood for my kids. And I know that it's different, and so it's like my brain can't, I'm like, oh, am I parenting completely wrong because it's not how my parents parented? But then I know that it's not wrong because they didn't do everything right. Yeah. But it's like in my brain, I'm like, oh, that wasn't like my childhood, so I need to fix it. But I don't. Like, I that's where I struggle, is letting my kids have their own experiences. Yeah. So, like, deciding to homeschool for us was kind of like that, because I was like, well, I had, you know, this memory and this memory and this memory from public school. Like, they're going to miss out on that. And then I had to tell myself, like, why does it matter? Like, they can have their own experiences. They can have their own memories. And
it's going to be maybe a little bit different, but... Yeah. But they do... I mean, they have a lot of friends.
They do have a lot of friends to be little homeschool weirdos. I always tell them, like, I call us that so nobody else can, you know? If somebody's going to make fun of you, you can be like, my mom already calls me a homeschool weirdo.
I'm a weirdo.
Oh, man. Man, that trailed.
It did. And my brain was about to say something, but I was talking to my uncle, actually. This past weekend, we were talking about really listening to people and trying to listen to them when they speak rather than, like, think about what you're about to say. Yeah. And, I mean, you hear that about ADHD people where it's really, really hard for them because they're trying to connect and trying to jump on what you're saying. Right. But to truly listen, because I think a lot of times people that do have ADHD will, I know for me, it's like, if I don't say it right now, I'm going to forget it. And it does happen a lot. But I also want to be a person that stops and hears what the other person is saying. And I want them to know that they're being heard rather than me be like, because I talk to people all the time that they're not in the conversation. Yeah. Like, I'll say something or they'll say something and then I say something and they're already done. Like, they're gone and thinking about other things, and that doesn't make you feel very good. Yeah. You know?
It's a good personal goal.
And practice.
I've been similar. That one too, but also I've been trying to be way more intentional just being a friend to people because I am so bad about just like staying in my own bubble. And it's not that I don't love somebody or care about somebody,
Sure.
but I have a hard time thinking outside of what's going on. And I think that's probably most people.
Yeah.
I don't think we're wired necessarily to be just outpouring, you know? And so I've tried to be way more intentional about texting specific people because I'm like, I do love this person and I do want them to think that I'm thinking about them, because that's the thing is like people pop into my head all the time and I'm like, oh, I love them, I should text them, and then I never do because I get busy. So I'm like, I've been trying to be intentional. When they pop in my head, I text them like, hey, just thinking about you.
Yeah.
Hope y'all are doing okay. And I don't know, I feel like some people have appreciated it. They're like, oh, I'm so glad you reached out. So it's kind of nice.
Well, they're probably in the same spot too, where they love you and they have a connection with you.
Yeah.
But it is a lot. I mean, we've said this before, I think, even on a get together. It's like, you have all these people that you love, but when they're out of sight, it is almost like they're out of mind. And then you like pop up, like sometimes I envision it like popping up and like seeing all these people like, oh, I love them.
Yeah.
And I love them.
Yeah.
And wanting to connect with them, but also not having the time, not having, all the things that it takes to line up to get with the people that you really want to. But, shooting them a text is
well, that was
hey,
my
I'm thinking
thing.
about
That's the smallest thing I can do because baby steps. I hate being on the phone. I'm not about to call somebody.
I almost called you today and I was like, I don't think she wants to talk to me on the phone.
I would have answered. I would have answered and I would have talked to you, but I was
begrudgingly.
I was scrubbing my kid's bathroom today. I was like on hands and knees getting stuff done.
I gotta scrub the bathrooms.
I just feel like we have a puppy. We got a new puppy, World, if you didn't know. And she is the cutest little idiot. She will not learn to go to the bathroom outside. So she just keeps peeing in my floor. And I'm like, my house stinks. Like, my house reeks. And I don't think it does.
It doesn't.
It's just it's like I'm projecting. I'm like,
oh yeah.
I feel disgusting.
Yeah.
So anyways, the kids' bathroom was like overhauled today because she's gone in there a couple of times. And then I'm about to just burn the living room carpet.
The rug.
Yeah.
Same. Our rug is getting real. I love those videos of them cleaning those rugs. It's so satisfying.
I asked my sister-in-law today, I was like, do you have a shampoo, what is that? Oh my gosh.
Shampoo?
Yeah, but the carpet shampooer. I can't think of the word. Carpet. Anyways,
rug.
She did not. But somebody I know, I feel like has to have one. But I was like, do I really want to invest the time to clean that carpet?
Or do I just want to get a new one?
Throw it outside, watch it burn. I'm feeling violent.
We have one of those like Kirby's. Those are the ones that are like heavy duty.
Too.
You have a Kirby?
My mom gave me her old one. And so it's like
Is it really heavy though?
Yeah.
I hate that thing.
Mine's from the 1990s. It is.
Gosh, I loathe it. And Brian will defend it to the death.
I like it.
He's like, no, there's no other vacuum. We'll have to talk about this on our
This is the vacuum
husband podcast because this has been an argument our entire marriage. I've stubbed my toe so many times on that thing, just picking it up, and then the wheels, there's a piece on it that doesn't work, so it doesn't roll. So you have to literally pick the thing up that's like a person heavier than my children.
My wheel's off too.
Oh,
so maybe that's a thing.
I mean,
Kirby thing.
They still have the Kirby store. You can go in and get parts and stuff.
I need to go take mine. It also always smells like a burned.
Yeah. I do like the smell.
What is that called?
Wheel?
Oh my gosh.
Tire?
The belt. It smells like a burning belt. Belt. The belt. Like a belt.
I mean, it does suck really well. I will say that. And Brian, that's his thing. He's like, we'll never find a vacuum that's better than this.
I'll give him that.
But
I remember when the Kirby guys came to the house.
Yeah.
And
door to door.
Yeah. I was a kid back then.
I remember them coming in our house. Maybe we had a Kirby. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know why we went into that, but yeah, I said that all to say it has the shampooer in it, but I don't like that thing at all, so I don't ever want to even think about how to even go about using it for shampooing.
My mom told me, she was like, there's a bunch of attachments, and I was like, is there? Like, how do you attach them to this thing? This is like, you know what a Kirby makes me think of? The vacuum cleaner on the Brave Little Toaster.
Oh,
do you remember he was a Grouchy?
Yes.
That's what a Kirby is. Grouchy vacuum.
Grouchy little Kirby.
Goodness.
Yeah. And we're down to that vacuum in our house. I don't know why I keep going on in those.
I need hoses, though, because I need to...
Now, is yours one on the ground, or is it like a push one?
It's a push, like on the ground.
Yeah.
No, but I was going to say I need to suck the cracks of my couch. But then I was like, that word is not...
The cracks.
Not the greatest.
The crevices.
Usages of words. I need to go to sleep.
Usages of words. What does that remind me of? Oh, it's a movie.
It is. I know what you're talking about.
Oh. Usages of words. What is that? Oh,
why?
Come to me.
All who are weary and heavy laden.
I will give you rest. It's not. Maybe it'll come back.
Oh, man.
It's the way I said it and the slowness. I know, yeah. Usages of
That's
words.
going to bug me.
I'm going to think about it all night.
Anyways,
it'll come to us sometime.
3 a.m.
I'll text you. Oh, better yet, I'll call you.
Yeah, do that. I will not answer.
Oh, Lisa!
I remembered. Oh, well, I think if you're listening, you should drop some comments or text one of us and give us ideas for the husband chat.
Ooh, give us some questions to ask each other.
Because me and Kenneth have been married. This year will be 14 years.
Whoa.
And then how long for y'all?
This will be 10.
So I feel like, nothing's new anymore. You know, like we need some questions.
Yeah.
We need some topics.
And maybe a game. Can play a game.
That would be fun.
I think that'll be a funny episode.
We need to get on that.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll schedule it.
So, goals set.
Yeah, we want to do... Our goal is to at least put out an episode a week, which was our initial...
Which we did really good at for...
Until
3 weeks.
Stopped. Radio silence.
We were. I texted you that one day and I was like, we should probably make like an Instagram reel or something. And you were like, what should we do? And I was like, I don't know. And then we just didn't do anything.
But
we're doing
this
great.
Is all for fun. It's not like people are just
chomping at the bits. Except like we said, our one guest. Shout out Joy. Love you. But
you know, Alethea, she listens to all of them.
Oh,
yeah.
I love her.
I do too. She's going to come on.
Yes.
We got to get her. Maybe we can, I think it would be great if we drove out to her.
That would be fun. Anyways, I'm a little re-excited.
I am too.
I've felt very unmotivated and very blah about everything, but this feels good.
It does.
This feels right.
And I think we're still kind of getting through that awkward beginning where we don't really know what to do with ourselves on camera or speaking wise. What are you doing?
Do you hear that?
Sounds like an alien. What is that?
I don't know. I'm locking the door.
Why?
I don't know. It sounded scary. It sounded like an old freaking, you know what, like in horror movies when there's like an old harpsichord, like clang, clang, clang. That's what it sounded like. It's gonna be fine.
Okay. The first time we were in here, we had a spider.
Yes.
And now there's a strange alien
harpsichord
voice.
outside. You know what a harpsichord is? Those old school, like, think about Pride and Prejudice style movie.
Okay.
Like before they had the pianoforte, they had the harpsichord, and it was like this.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
It sounds almost like an
Harpsichord.
It sounds like an out of tune piano. Is what it sounds like.
Oh.
Anyways, I think there's something metal out there. It's probably just it's windy,
Blowing in the wind.
There's also cats out there, wildlife.
Coyotes.
I wish.
Do y'all get coyotes out here?
Not really.
We actually get some weird animals in our neighborhood, and we don't even live out in...
It's because there's like big fields.
But you hear about everything because of Facebook pages, and they're like, "Did you see the coyote?" You know?
I guess I say we don't have coyotes, not in this particular location, but like right up the road, there's fields and acreage.
Yeah.
Acreage. There's acreage out there.
Yeah, I live out back in the acreage. Like that acreage. Yeah, farming. All the like the 4 wheelers.
Oh, it makes me think of my Papa Ralph.
Aw. I met him once.
Yeah, I was gonna say. My Papa Ralph sounded like Boomhauer from King of the Hill. But he kind of looked like Cotton from King of the Hill.
Billy, comb your hair.
That was sweet.
That was
Nemo.
your aunt, right? That said that?
No, that was
your...
that was my Nemo.
Nemo.
My dad's mom. My family in Georgia, they are one of a kind. Nemo and Papa are gone now, but my Papa used to. Anytime anybody came, he'd be like, come on down, the horses down on the pasture, and come on down here with the goats over there. Like, you could not understand what he was saying if you didn't know him, but he was the best.
They were so sweet. I just remember feeling like one of their grandkids in just the short time that I was around.
It's because Nemo was always just cooking. She's just in there, like making her cakes and her biscuits and good times. I need to learn those biscuits. But anywho,
maybe we could cook on an episode.
That would be funny.
And learn. That would be fun. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Cooking with them.
Getting together to cook. Anyways, you got anything else?
I just don't.
Me neither.
I think it
was a good random episode.
It's a good
Not
get
about
together.
anything in particular.
No.
But that's how this be. And now we have a plan.
Yeah.
Tentatively.
We need to make our own vision board. All these ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. For our podcast, and
that would be fun.
Yeah.
We could do that as an episode.
We could.
Create our vision board.
Well, it's a good time of year.
That's true.
If you're like me, I have not done a vision board yet, and it's almost February. But
it's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's just January 57th. Why does January always feel so long?
And then February is always short, but it is a shorter month. I was trying to figure out, was last year a leap year?
Was it?
Well, because I thought 2020 was a leap year. And they're every 4 years.
Is it every 4?
Yeah. Right?
Don't get me lying. I don't know.
Alexa.
I got mine turned off so I don't get disturbed. There is wildlife. That sounded not like any of my dogs.
That sounded like
like
a more of a growl-ish bark.
My mind is going places I'm not gonna.
It's fine. Y'all don't.
No, I'm.
Oh. I'm like, well, you're really worried?
I'm thinking about times that I actually freaked myself out.
Oh yeah.
Overthinking.
When I lived with Bree, we had that little blue duplex house, and I came home, I guess it was Christmas Eve or something, and something about our light was on. Bree could tell you, I was so freaked out I wouldn't go in the house by myself, and I called Bree and I was like, where are you? And she was like out of town with her family or at their house, and it was a ways away. And she was like, I can't come home. I'm like, I can't go in by myself. This is impossible. And I had just made it in my mind that there was a man in the house behind the door, and if I went in, he was going to, like, get me. And
What?
only because the porch light was on when I got home, I think. And it was windy, and, like, the chimes were chiming, and I was like, huh. But I had made this whole scenario in my brain. Like, this is going to happen if I go into that house.
See, your fears, though, are more logical. Like, mine are, like, of aliens.
Like, what?
Like, there was one time, I hate aliens, okay? Like, I've always been freaked out at the thought of aliens.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I'm 30, almost 36 now, and so my views are a little different. But as a teenager, I was like, I know they're not real, but I'm absolutely still terrified of them. Like, they're terrifying and disgusting. Anyways, I decided it would be a good idea late at night, alone in my home because my parents were gone, to watch the movie Signs.
Oh, by yourself?
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. It's like a random core memory for me. But, like, I watched it, and, like, I was like, oh, enjoyable movie, so great. But then I go lay down in bed, and I don't have, like, things on my windows. And I turn, and I can just see the roof line of the house next to us. Mm-hmm. And I was like, there's an alien on the roof. Like, it's watching me. There. I'm gonna watch it pop its stupid head up any minute. You know how in Signs that scene where it, like, walks out and the people are like, Rah!
Across the window or whatever? Yeah.
Now I have chill bumps and I'm freaked out by these windows. But I was like, it's gonna do that on the house next door, and I'm alone, and I'm gonna die from an alien attack. That's where
I remember in our apartment that you and somebody else made me watch The Fourth Kind.
I ain't never seen that.
Yeah, you did.
What's that?
Aliens. And it's real demonic to me. I was like, it was dark.
Was me.
It was you.
I've never seen that movie before.
And Brady.
I've never even heard of it. The Fourth Kind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Maybe, that's the one that maybe you fell asleep or something. It wasn't, I mean, you were there.
That's weird.
Anyways,
what's
that movie
about?
Like aliens, like, kidnapping people, and, like, it was filmed to be, like, documentary type, so it made it seem very real.
I'm gonna have to go Google and see if anything sparks.
But to me, it was, like, dark, and I was like, this is demonic. I gotta pray over my home.
I gotta go cast these demons out now. Thanks a lot.
I did once when I lived at my mom's, and I was a young adult. And
this is demonic. I've literally never seen this in my life.
And I don't know why I finished watching it, but afterwards I was like, I need prayer. So have you ever seen Rosemary's Baby?
Pieces of it. Like the old one?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I watched that in my room when I was still living with my parents.
Why?
Don't know. I had a wild hair, and I was like, this is fine and great for my spirit. And I finished the movie, and I watched it on my laptop, and I remember I shut it, and I was like, gotta go get my mom. And I went and got my mom. I was like, can you pray with me over my room? Because it was so, like, convicted that I watched it, but also, like, a darkness. And anyways, we prayed and got rid of whatever that feeling was, but I was like, never again.
So I don't know, because, like, I don't remember anything that I'm seeing from this specific movie.
Yeah, it's not, I don't recommend anyone watching that. I mean, we're naming all of these movies, but
yeah,
I don't like horror
scary
movies and scary movies, especially if it's some kind of, like, but if you think about it, like, I remember I would say, like, ooh, like, I don't like things that are demonic or spiritual. But if you think about it, like, murder and all that, it comes from a demonic place.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we got to be careful what we put in our ears and our hearts and our minds and all that.
Agreed.
But I do know why people do it, because it is thrilling.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, ooh, like, what's going to happen, you know?
My kids want to watch, like, the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. Oh. And I let them watch it. I watched it with them. Mm-hmm. And, like, it was a decent movie. It was fine. But it was like these animatronics are possessed basically
By
the
children. Like,
children's
I read it
spirits
read
that
on
got
it.
murdered or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like,
because they have video games of that.
yeah, I was like, probably shouldn't have watched that. And now they've been like, can we watch it again? And I'm like, no, we're not. Like, sorry. I had to have a whole like talk with the kids the other day about demonic stuff because Wyatt wanted this specific game, and I went and looked at it, and I was like, no, dude, like there's too much going on in this game. And he's like, it's not even bad. And I was like, I know it doesn't look bad. And I was like, but let me just put on my old school Christian cap for a minute. And I was like, you're going to hate everything I'm about to say. And I was like, and I kind of just went over the same thing. I was like, we have to watch what we do, like watch what we watch what we listen to, watch what we play. And I was like, because some of this stuff can open doors to the demonic. And we probably sound so kooky to some people right now, but it is what it is.
Who cares? I ain't opening it to my...
Well, and I told Wyatt, I said, I remember my parents talking about this same stuff, and I thought they were crazy until we had some spiritual demonic things go on in our house. And my parents handled that like champs. Like, my dad would get up in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. and walk circles around the house praying and rebuking things. And I don't know, I just saw a lot of crazy stuff demonic wise as a kid that as an adult now, I'm like, we ain't even jacking with that. Because I told Wyatt the other day, I said, you're not getting this game. I said, because if it were to bring anything in, I was like, bro, I'm lazy. And I don't want to be up praying over the house at 3 a.m. walking circles, okay? So we're just going to keep it out.
Don't open that
door. I
door.
got time to be praying these demons out. Oh, just keep it nice in here.
I ain't got time to shove it out. So we're not letting it in.
But yeah.
That's a good way of putting it, though.
And Kenneth, to this day, will not let me live down the fact that we watched that movie one time. Oh,
man, I would bring some weird ones, wouldn't I? I was their third wheel for a long time.
It was the best.
And I went through a phase of, like, liking weird, like, indie movies or, like, movies no one's ever heard of. And, you know, I was, like, the type that was like, nobody's going to tell me this movie's bad because I'm going to be the judge of that. So I would watch all these movies and see for myself. Yeah, I remember what movie you're talking about. We were all kind of like, what in the world?
But then, like, it was like a train wreck. Yeah. Like, there was one point that we were like, what? But then we were like, but we gotta know what happened.
I gotta know.
And Kenneth actually left the room. He was like, I'm getting out of here. Y'all are crazy. Left. He was so mad.
He never trusted my...
He did not. He always is like, was Stacey bringing over another demonic movie? I'm like, no, babe. Gosh.
Yeah. You know, everyone goes through stages, and
you live and you learn.
You live and you learn. Like, don't watch Rosemary's Baby in your room or ever.
Don't watch Signs if you don't like aliens.
Right. Don't let it in.
Don't let it. Lock the door.
Lock the door.
Lock the
double deadbolt it.
The spiritual door.
Wow, how did we even go here?
I feel like it was borderline a sermon, but then there was too much laughter to be a sermon. So.
I mean, there's, I mean, you and your kids aren't going to understand that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what I told Wyatt. I was like, bro, the only reason I do understand is because, like I said, I done seen it. You know, I walked through it, watched my parents slay, literally. Like, they were spiritual powerhouses back then, and it kind of gave me a roadmap of, that's how I need to live, especially if I'm ever dealing with something demonic. Mm-hmm. It was kind of cool experience, though, because it was, like, scary happening as a kid, but as an adult, I'm kind of just like, eye roll at the devil. I'm like, bro, just leave us alone. Because
you have no power over me.
And that's where I think it was good for, I guess, encouraging me in that sense. So that's nice. Yeah. But my kids don't know anything about that. And I'm not about to tell them those stories because they'll be like,
no way. What? Nora would, yes. She would want to know every detail, too.
They probably would, what? Too. But then
what happened after that?
They'd be up at night. You know, Wyatt already told me last night that he had several nightmares. So I'm like, let's go pray. Come on.
Come on.
Let's get them out.
Get in here.
Maybe let's pray. We should find like a spiritual professional to bring on to talk about.
What kind of spiritual?
Like Jesus kind.
Okay. I'm like, what? Ain't no witchcraft going over here.
Let's get this playhouse. I need somebody to read my palm. got a cigarette hanging out of her mouth. My brain is going off the rails right now.
Well, you know,
if you haven't figured out by now on this podcast, we are Christians.
We love the Lord. We love Jesus.
It's there. And we're not going to pretend we're not or try to not talk about it. So there's that.
Yeah.
But anyways. Well, came from a checkbook.
Mind if I pay you in change? Is that how it goes? We should do one where we are going back and forth with just our inside jokes, because I feel like we have enough.
It'd be enough for a
full
everyone
episode. Understands that. With your like close best friends, you always have inside jokes, and
Speaking
nobody
of,
else would understand it. But
okay, I was at Jennifer Cunningham's the other day. Mm-hmm. Our previous guest, her and I have gotten closer, and so we've been hanging out a lot more. But we were working on shirts and doing something, and she goes really quietly. She was just like, drinking out of cups, and I was like, did you just say drinking out of cups? And she was like, yeah. Do you know what that is? I was like, yes, I know what that is. She knows. And then we sat there quoting it back and forth. I was like, my life has just been made.
I would have never pegged Jennifer to be that type.
That's why I told her, I was like,
Jennifer,
you just made my whole day knowing what drinking out of cups is.
And she said it so under the breath
that you're like, drinking out of cups.
Wait,
and
what?
I was like, did you just say that? She's like, I did. So we just laughed about the fact that, you know, we used to show it to everybody that we knew and just laugh and laugh and laugh. If you've never seen it, language warning if you go look it up, because it is languagey. It's from our early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was a popular video. Remember Marcel the Shell? Yes. I saw it was on TV the other day randomly for something. I don't know how. Maybe it was like, this was a while back, but it was like, maybe, you know how sometimes if you're watching like YouTube or something else will come on. Yeah. And it was Marcel the Shell, and it was like a whole episode.
That's crazy. So somebody knew Marcel from you.
From me? Mm-hmm. I thought I knew it from you. Mm-mm. How did I know it?
You showed it to me. I don't know. Mm-hmm. In a very similar fashion. Have you heard of Marcel the Shell? It's like, no.
Oh, salad fingers.
Oh, man. And then I asked Jennifer, too. Chop. She hadn't ever heard, though, of Homestar Runner. Did you ever watch any of the Homestar Runner? It had the Strong Bad Email. It was like all animated, this cartoon, and they had this thing on it called Teen Girl Squad. Mm-mm. Anyways, Strong Bad was my favorite because he would answer emails that people sent him. Mm-hmm. And so he'd be like, let's get on the computer today and see what kind of emails. And he'd like sing little songs. There's one where he does like a techno beat. Oh my gosh, that was my favorite. I hope somebody out there has heard that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, the times. The early 2000s were
weird.
It was like the pinnacle of YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. Everything was great back then.
And then along came Vine.
Ah, Vine.
I miss Vine.
I do too. And like TikTok's basically the same, but
yeah, it's different though.
I was quoting some of our old Vines the other day. I don't even remember which one I was.
You can't get on there, right?
Mm-mm. They're gone. And I don't even know if I have any of those videos saved.
I
know we saved a few. The devil one we did because it's on Facebook.
Yes. I just feel like, what I say?
You said, lately the devil's just been telling me that I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, screw that guy. He got kicked out of heaven. You're going to listen to this fool. Oh, man.
I personally like the one that you were in the kitchen doing, like, you had your little teapot. And you were all into your oils at the time.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of that I had ever heard of, like, essential oils and stuff like that. And you were all into it.
And frankincense, also brought to the grass child.
Also brought to the grass child.
Good times.
Good times of us working out together or whenever we worked out. I don't even remember, but you'd be like, I'm going to go get the staff. Not affection.
I was thinking about too the other day when we were trying to make a stupid video per the usual, but my mom was there. And so I'm like singing to you and she's like, why is James Thorne selling all of his electronics in the background?
Bad timing, Mom.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, maybe other people didn't think those were funny, but we thought they were hilarious.
I mean,
I know that everyone has that person, but
I think that's the thing, though. It's like with this podcast, like, obviously not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but
sure.
we're really just doing it for me and you.
We needed to get together tonight.
I think so. I feel better.
I feel
revived.
I feel like tomorrow I can take on all the vision things.
I'm going to create 17 vision boards tomorrow.
I'm going to shoot 20 weddings all tomorrow.
Day.
Look at him. Call me. Call me.
Oh my gosh. But see, I'm awful. I didn't make any photography goals.
No, you need to.
I made like homesteading goals. Like, I'm going to make more bread and build a garden and do all of these things.
But building a garden is good. And all that is good. What's your favorite thing to photograph?
I don't know. You know, I feel super uncreative lately.
Well, I think everybody goes through that. I feel the same way too. I feel sometimes I go through like feeling old, and that everyone else is so like quickly like artistic and creative, younger and quicker. And it took me like I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still not up to par.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is too, I was just stuck in my ways and need to do things.
It's hard to break
and learn
habits
and relearn things and also learn new things. Because I was photographing a wedding with a friend of mine, and she would mention a few things, and she's been doing photography for, she's really good in a short time. And she mentioned something, and I was like, what is that? I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. And I've been doing this for 20 years. But at the same time, coming from a place of, okay, even though I've been doing this for 20 years, that doesn't mean I have to be the best photographer in the world. And it also doesn't mean I have to know everything. Yeah. And I can still be teachable, even at 39.
Yeah.
And been doing it for 20 years.
Being teachable is half of most battles
of life.
If you have to be teachable, you have to be willing to learn things.
You don't know everything, and you don't need to know everything.
The good thing about being in that long, though, is like you have gone through multiple different types of photography.
Oh, I've seen things come and go. And I remember Daryl, my boss, a mentor, he would say, oh, this is just a fad, and I saw things come and go, and
Isn't it weird? Like, people's preference in photos changes like their clothes.
It does.
Like it's like a season.
Yeah.
Oh, that's out this season. This is in.
And that's kind of what I feel like I've tried to stay pretty on a solid ground, like not go
that's
crazy.
Where I am too. I play it kind of safe and just stay.
Yeah. But I mean, if people like certain things, I'll try to.
Right.
I
was gonna say something. I don't remember. But I don't know. Creatively, I just feel like I used to love to shoot like nature things, but like that doesn't pay any bills, like that.
Yeah.
So, because I used to say that I never wanted to do portrait photography, and then that's what I do now. So.
Yeah, if you can find a way to make money doing that. I have a friend who that's all she loves is wildlife and nature.
But see, I don't go out enough for that to matter either. So it's like, I might get one good shot of something, and what do you do? But
yeah, National Geographic.
It's like winning the lottery. I got one good picture, and it's a National Geographic.
See, I had an idea to go and take. So I was like, what can I hang on my wall that's somewhat artistic but also personable? Not just like a picture of a tree that I got at Hobby Lobby. So I was thinking, what if I went and took some like interesting vantage points of places that Brian and I met.
Oh, that's cute.
And like where like little significant places that we went in our marriage, and like hung them on our wall.
That'd be cute.
Maybe just like once a week go somewhere and take a new photo. That was an idea. Maybe I'll put that on my vision board.
I need to just create one that has to do with business. All my goals were for the home.
Let's do a vision board party.
Okay.
We can record it.
Sounds good. We can get those little lapel microphones so we can be hands-free.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for today. It was nice getting back together with you.
Yeah, you too.
It was far too long. I think the last time I saw you was when we recorded our last episode, our Christmas episode.
Oh, that was a fun one.
That was fun.
Yeah.
If that's all you got, that's all I got.
Yeah, let these people go about their lives.
It's been fun. It's been real. Thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you. We'll be back this next week.
Have to be.
With more.
We gotta stick to them goals.
We're going to start booming them out.
Booming them out.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that.
Punching them out?
Booming them out.
What's the correct...
Punching them through the window.
Punching
We're going to be sweeping them out to the pastures.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us. We love you.
And we will see you at the next get-together.